Welcome to highlights of the Diamond League in Rome. It's the first meet in Europe so far this season, so a chance for some of Britain's best athletes to shine.
That won't be good enough, CJ. Oh, yes. Good work, Chris.
That's a good win by Eilidh Doyle.
Olympic, European, Commonwealth, and now world champion.
It's a busy week for the Diamond League with 2 meetings in just 4 days. But before Birmingham, it's Rome. Once the centre of a vast empire, modern Italy's capital is known for its rich cultural, architectural and artistic history. The Eternal City is also home to the Stadio Olimpico, the venue for tonight's action, where we've got all of this to come. There's a high-class field in the men's high jump, including Robbie Grabarz. Lindsay Sharp is up against a dominant Caster Semenya in the 800 metres. The men's 400 metres sees the return of world champion Wade van Niekerk. Multiple champion Greg Rutherford faces the best the rest of the world has to offer in the long jump. World 5,000 metre champion Almaz Ayana has her eyes on the world record of compatriot Tirunesh Dibaba. Justin Gatlin ran a record 9.75 here last year. Can he inspire Britain's CJ Ujah to another sub-10 second time? First, though, it's the women's 400 metres. Eilidh Doyle already has an impressive Diamond League victory under her belt. Tonight, she faces the world leader, Georgianne Moline. Here to talk you through it are your commentators, Tim Hutchins and Steve Cram.
Line up for our first race, then. A couple of Italians in the inside lanes. Folorunso, Caravalli, then we've got Khalees Spencer, Georgianne Moline, fastest in the world so far this year, Cassandra Tate of the USA, then the 2 athletes who've won Diamond League races so far, Eilidh Doyle of Great Britain, Genevieve Russell of Jamaica, and then Adekoya of Bahrain and Tyrone Nell of South Africa on the outside. Georgianne Moline, well, she has really started her season well. She's had a good indoor season, a couple of personal bests over odd distances, 500, 600. That shows her strength is there, though. And a 53.97, going under 54 seconds in Tucson, her hometown, a couple of weeks ago. She's in a really good lane here, in lane 4. Plenty to aim at outside her. Cassandra Tate was second in Rabat a couple of weeks ago. Bronze medalist in Beijing last year. 25-year-old, still improving. And what about Eilidh Doyle? Well, opened her season with her quickest ever first race of the year by winning. Great win in Doha, 54.53. She's been in Tenerife training since then. And this may well be the big threat here. Genevieve Russell, who is just at 22 years of age, improving all the time. Indeed, in Rabat, knocked another half a second off her personal best. Stacked field here. Coached by Stephen Francis. Said she made a lot of mistakes when she ran her first personal best of the season. Reckons she can go a lot quicker. Cleanly away. Moline's got away a little bit slowly, really. Cassandra Tate started much more quickly outside her, chasing down Eilidh Doyle of Great Britain, and it's Cassandra Tate perhaps leading, also going well. Adekoya out there in lane 8. 9 lanes here in Rome. But Doyle very much trying to set the pace over this first 200 metres and has really attacked it through these first 5 flights. So it's Doyle with Adekoya going well outside her and just stuttering there, and Genevieve Russell really coming back into it. And Genevieve Russell now forcing her way through. She's had a really good top bend there, the Jamaican, and now opens up a lead as they come into the home straight. Now, can she hold it? Can she keep her technique here? Russell's got about a 4 metre, almost climbs over that hurdle. 1 more flight to go for Russell. Doyle in second place, but it's Russell who takes that one well, comes off the hurdle well, and comes through to win in just inside. There you go. Well, we'll wait to see if that gets rounded down, because that's exactly the same time as the world lead. And we've been seeing times come down by 100th or 2, and indeed it's going to be confirmed as a new world lead by 100th of a second Well, Russell didn't start as quickly as one or two others, Tim, but round that top bend, forced her way into the front. Over the penultimate hurdle, a little bit ragged, but finished really well.
Yeah, nicely judged race, wasn't it, from Russell? They're third to left as we see them at the moment. Eilidh Doyle really attacked the race through the first 250, held her form pretty well, but Russell so strong. Strangely lackluster run from Georgianne Moline, the world #1, way back there, top left of picture in lane 4. She had an awful run, I have to say, but Russell held her form really well down the home straight here. Doyle just having Tyrone Nell on the outside nearest the camera, ease past her to steal second place. But look at that victory margin, 4 or 5 metres. And as you say, Steve, quite rightly, a world best. There's confirmation of the women's 1 metre hurdles result. Russell 53.96, 54.61 to Tyrone Nell. Eilidh Doyle, good points there though, 54.81 in third.
Well, the women's triple jump had one or two who didn't have things going their own way. Rojas of Venezuela didn't even make it through. The new rules, of course, mean that only 4 get to have final 3 jumps, and it was a good day for Shanika Thomas of Jamaica. Probably her best ever international competition, 14.46 in round 1, very close to personal best she set earlier in the year, but to finish third in the Diamond League, a really good performance from her. Well, a more familiar name in second place, Olga Rypakova. She responded in round 2 with 14.51 for Rypakova, the 31-year-old, close to a season's best. On a night when the competition wasn't that good, and indeed Ibargüen looked in some trouble because it was only in round 3 where she looked as though she might not even qualify. Managed a 14.64, the #1 in the world, and then in the final round improved on it. She needed that 14.64 in round 3 just to get 3 further jumps. She had 2 no jumps in 4 and 5, but this her best, 14.78. So normal service resuming for Katarina Ibargüen, the world champion. Not as good a competition as we saw in Doha, but 3 in a row for the Colombian now. Rypakova in second, as I said, and Thomas, a really good performance for her. Rojas, real disappointment for the Venezuelan, the world indoor champion, further down in 7th place.
There's the lineup. Deslou, Skyers, Smelly, Lemaitre, Webb, Edward, Bromell, Guliev and Brown. Big names that have won this discipline before in this Olympic stadium include Frankie Fredericks, Michael Johnson, Maurice Green in years gone by. Trayvon Bromell, one of the great finds of this last year or so, the world indoor champion at 60 metres, the bronze medalist last year in Beijing over 100 metres with 9.92, holds the world junior record for 100 metres. There's Alonso Edward, very experienced silver medalist back in 2009 in Berlin at 200 metres, won the 200 here in Rome 2 years ago. He goes in 6. Amir Webb goes in lane 5, winner in Doha in a new personal best of 19.85. Brilliant running from him in Qatar, some 3 weeks or so ago. Pretty strong lineup. Deslou of Italy in 1, Skyers Cuba 2, Gavin Smelly of Canada in 3, Lemaitre of France goes in 4, then Webb of the USA in 5, the winner in Doha, Alonso Edwards 6, Trayvon Bromell in 7, watch him in the red, Guliev 8, Brown in 9. The way this time, brilliant start there, rocket start from Bromell, third from right already, picked up on Guliev, who's a sub-20-second performer. He leads at the moment. Lemaitre's got some work to do in lane 4, just inside Bromell. Webb and Edward going well. In fact, it's Webb now who leads. Here comes Lemaitre in the black. Goodness me, Bromell's going backwards dramatically, but what a big win that is, 20.05. And what a very solid run indeed it was. The winner in Doha maintaining that form, set a 100 personal best of 10.03. That was legal back in early April. He's been racing well for quite a few weeks now, in contrast to so many Europeans, of course, who are just finding their racing legs.
Brown got a cracking start, but look at Bromell in the red, gets away. Brown going well on the outside, and Webb, though, much better judged race. A little bit wide coming off the bend, but then as he comes into the home straight, does what he did in Doha, really, just moves away from the rest of the field. Brown keeps going well, closest to the camera, but there was, as you said, plenty of space between Webb and the others, not far away from 20 seconds. It's not renowned as a super quick track, this. It's always hard, I think, to get under 20 seconds here in Rome. A little bit cooler tonight as well. although there is, as you said, a slight breeze behind them. The Webb looks good, doesn't he? We're going to see him in the 100 metres a little later as well. We're interested to see how he goes in that event.
There it is, a very convincing victory from Amir Webb, and as Steve said, a very, very smooth performance from him, coming through from lane 5 to defeat Brown, Edward and Lemaitre, second, third and fourth. The time very solid indeed, far from ideal conditions.
Well, it's quite a busy night in the field, this Kyriakopoulou. And quite a few women struggling a little bit tonight in the pole vault, but Kyriakopoulou at 4:55, looking good and looking solid. The bigger names, Silva, Stefanidi, her teammate, Buchla, have all been passing. One or two others, as I said, had a little bit of a struggle. In fact, Lisa Reisich of Germany, no mark at all. Came in at 4:45.
Madara Balamaika. Well, 57.96 was a modest opener, puts her in fourth place. And that one, well, looks slightly better. That surely will be on 60 metres. If it is, it'll be the first such throw. She didn't look entirely happy with it. I don't think the conditions are helping the throws at all here. 61.66 now, a lead of almost a couple of metres.
Despite continuing controversy, Caster Semenya has dominated in both of her Diamond League outings so far this year. Today she faces a field comprised of the very best in the world, including all the medalists from Beijing, the world indoor champion and Great Britain's Lindsay Sharp. The stage is set for one of the best 800-metre races of the season and perhaps a sneak preview of this summer's Olympic final.
Lineup for the women's 800. And what a field we have here. Nian Saba, you see Yunus Sum, former world champion, of course. And Caster Semenya, who will undoubtedly start every race, I'm pretty sure, as favourite. Already got 2 Diamond League wins to her name this year. Lindsay Sharp, Great Britain on the outside, the European champion from 2012, silver medalist 2014. Semenya, well, so far she's kind of toyed with the fields, has been in, looked as though she's been able to run an awful lot quicker. More of that in a second. The world champion, Oshimarsova of Belarus, and of course the European champion in Zurich 2 years ago. Then Yunus Sum, the former world champion, struggling to find that sort of form at the moment, the Kenyan. One or two others would have loved to have just been in this race because it is absolutely stacked. Women's 800 metres. Well, for Caster Semenya, controversy follows her throughout her career, continues to do so. And the CAS ruling, which affects the IAAF's thoughts on hyperandrogenism, are allowing her to come and compete, obviously, and is running very, very well, Caster Semenya. The others have got to put that to one side and work out a way to try and beat her, and I think tonight's a big test. This could even be a World Championship final, the sort of lineup we have. And interestingly, neither Semenya nor anybody is going with Usovic, who hasn't gone off too crazily there, but the others a little slow to get on the back. Just starting to stretch out now, Tim, as they move a little bit closer to Usovic.
Yeah, they didn't actually go out that slowly. I mean, the majority of this pack went through in about 28.5, something like that, for the first 200. If they slow down now, then it will be slow at 400 metres. Good to see Lindsay Sharp up there in an attacking position. She's, what, in fourth place on the inside there. Semenya quite badly boxed at the moment there towards the back of the field.
57.15 at the front, the field around about 58 seconds, and Semenya just watching. Nian Saba just ahead of her in the green, if you like. Lindsay Sharp in a good spot, following Lamotte and Oshimarsova on the inside. Now, how far will Usovic go as Nian Saba makes a big move down the back straight? Semenya watching for the danger, quickly follows her as the pacemaker steps off. Lamotte looking to struggle in the front as Nian Saba, the world indoor champion, with Semenya on her shoulder. Adji Wilson moving up on the outside, the American. But it's Nian Saba and Caster Semenya who are forging ahead at the moment. Lindsay Sharp is moving into fourth place, but these two are beginning to pull away. Now, has Nian Saba got enough to hold off Semenya in the whole straight? Semenya has waited until the last 50 metres. This time she's really putting her foot down early, and Semenya moves away. Niyonsaba got no answer. Lindsay Sharp going well into third place, but it's Semenya kicking away. It's going to be a pretty quick time. 1:56.6. Niyonsaba second. Lindsay Sharp in third. Well, I said the others have got to find a way, and if Niyonsaba is the next best in terms of challenging Semenya, she had nothing there that Semenya needed to be worried about. It'll be a world-leading time for the South African.
The sheer power that Semenya unleashes here with about 60 to go is quite awe-inspiring. Look at the way that leg turnover has increased and the way she just tears up the ground between herself and Niyonsaba. That gap is 2 metres, 50 metres back. It's 10 or 12 metres there at the line. It's a totally dominant performance for the third Diamond League in a row for the South African. Good running from Lindsay Sharp in third place to go under 2 minutes again, but they have no answer to this sort of power.
Yes, Niyonsaba 1:58.2, clear ahead of Lindsay Sharp with a good season's best from Lindsay Sharp, 1:59.03, beat a lot of big names there. A lot of people will be hoping to get to the World Championship final. Eunice, some really poor performance from her. But Caster Semenya once more comes out on top. So in the pole vault, we saw Kyriakopoulos clear 4:55. The bar now at 4:60, and that's a good attempt by Stefanidi. So Stefanidi and Kyriakopoulos going well so far. As I said, it's been a bit of a struggle for one or two others. Katie Najot, excuse me, the American gone out. Ling Li from China already gone. Silva, the world champion, has only had 2 attempts so far, and that was her going clear at 4:60 and has passed at 55. A previous attempt came at 4:50. That equals the season's best, but looks in really good form tonight, Silva. And Stefanidi, Kyriakopoulos still in the competition. The 2 Greek athletes in a real scrap here with Silva. Kyriakopoulos struggled a little bit earlier on. And gets better. And look at that, she's delighted with that. Kyriakopoulos, the bronze medalist in Beijing, going clear at 4:65. And that now puts the pressure on Silva, who's passed at this height. And this is Stefanidi. So the Greeks really going well. Anything Kyriakopoulos can do, Stefanidi following on, and now takes the lead. She goes clear at 4:70. And 1 or 2 others may have struggled tonight, but these 3 going really well.
South Africa's Wade van Niekerk shook the world of 400-metre running with his surprise victory in Beijing. His winning time of 43.48 made him the 4th fastest man ever over a single lap. He's gone on to become the only man to have run sub-44 seconds for 400 metres, sub-20 for 200 and sub-10 for 100. Can he bring some of that blistering pace to his first Diamond League race of 2016?
And there is the lineup, strong lineup this, and of course it's marked by the return to the European circuit of Wade van Niekerk, the reigning world champion. The 23-year-old South African goes in lane 4. Nice lane draw for him too, having Makwala of Botswana outside him, was 5th in those world championships last year and commits so early. Not a strong event for Europe at the moment. The European record from Thomas Schoenleber of the GDR, East Germany, 44.33. Goes back, wait for it, to 1987. And Schoenleber took a medal in this very arena. So Galvan in 1, McDonald in 2, Borley in 3, Van Niekerk in 4. This will be fascinating from the South African in lane 4, the world champion. Makwala 5, watch him. Haroon 6, Taplin, Norwood and Lendor complete the lineup. Well, he's up Makwala there to ride a picture in lane 5, runs with that yellow armband on his right arm, and he's gone off yet again very quickly indeed, gaining ground on Haroon. Outside him, the youngster Haroon, youngest in the field, running strongly. There he is, 4th from left in the black. In the green is Taplin for Grenada in lane 7. But certainly Van Niekerk has gone off quickly too, and he's up with Makwala. Van Niekerk in the grey in lane 4, eases round the bend. The reigning world champion looks like he's heading for a good one. Makwala trying to come back at him. Good running from Taplin too. Taplin coming back at Van Niekerk. those flailing arms of Van Niekerk, keeping clear by a metre, comes towards the line, watch the clock, it's a strong run, 44.20. And that very, very close to the fastest time in the world this year. He has run 44.11. It will probably be rounded down. It has indeed 44.19. But that was a fabulous run, beautifully judged. Steve McQuarrie actually gauged his effort a little bit better than I think he has done in the last two outings.
He cruised the first 200, he worked the bend hard, and then look at this point, Taplin, as I said, McQuarrie is getting better. Taplin just threatened him here. He had enough to come away, but he was looking for the clock early. I think he thought he was running maybe a bit quicker. He's run 44.1 this year, it's another 44.1, 44.19 today. But as he moves into the outdoor season, there's been a lot made about this idea that he's under 10, he's under 20, and he's under 44 seconds, the benchmarks of sprinting, and that he's ready to go really quick this year. Well, that was good. I think by his standards, so he'd probably give himself about 7 out of 10.
World number one last year, Wade Van Niekerk, winning tonight 44.19. Looked in control to me ahead of Braylon Taplin, and Isaac McQuarrie 44.85 in third place, the season's best. Tamberi then, first attempt at 2:24. His card good so far. Visualising that clearance, the world indoor champion. A sixth in Rabat in 2:25, trying to get the crowd behind him, and I'm sure they will respond. How they love their champions here. Well, until his world indoor gold in Portland, he was recognised more for competing with half his beard shaved off. Now he is a very kosher performer, and that's good. Gives it a little scrape, but 2:24 is within his compass tonight, and maybe more. Husong of Germany. Two very modest efforts to begin her evening. 58.24 and 58.54. She's in sixth place. She takes this third round effort. That looks better. That's much better. That from Husong. Surely way past the middle line, so to speak, between those two white lines across the sector. That is beyond 60 metres. Rowan may well put her into second place. Palamaika 61.66 in the second round. And 61.21 into second place from sixth. That is some improvement. Villon, third place with that 60.53 second round effort. It is a modest competition. The lead at the moment, 61.66 from Palamaika in the second round. Round three now for the South African. Hits that one very hard, not ideally flighted, but it comes down a long way. Look at that, that's surely well beyond 60 metres. That might take the lead. She doesn't look delighted with it. I think she knows that Sunette Villon, the 32-year-old, that she's really not hitting her straps. She is a 69-metre thrower, albeit that was in New York 4 years ago. 61.95, and she takes the lead.
$5,000-metre world champion Almaz Ayana has a clean sweep so far this year, with impressive victories in the Doha and Rabat Diamond League meetings. Ethiopians dominate the start list here in Rome, where the world record held by Tirunesh Dibaba could be under threat. Britain's Steph Twell also features in what could well be a race against the clock.
So now we move to perhaps one of the highlights of the evening, the women's 5,000 metres. Quite a big field, with the big names on the second page of the start list. And none really bigger at the moment in world distance running than Almaz Ayana, who it is rumoured is going for the world record tonight. We've seen her run so fast already this year. She's got the likes of Burka, Cherono, Kibiwat. So the world champion at this distance, Ayana, has been setting the world delight. She's already racing more than she did last year, really showing her intention to go and post a time. How quick can she go tonight? So Ayana will be asking Tvedestup to lead early on. Also Beatrice Chepkoech of Kenya. These two will be trying to take her through in a really quick pace inside 250 she wants, and that's the way she likes to run. She likes to really set it up. She's not like Tirunesh Dibaba, who when she broke the world record really finished quickly over the last couple of laps. That was in Oslo, and we used to see Dafar and Dibaba, when they were exchanging quick times at 5,000 metres, attack the race in a very different way. Ayana's not frightened of going out hard, but what it means is I can't see her having anyone anywhere near us. If the pacemakers do a job up to 3,000 metres, they will probably just let her go, and she's going to be front running all by herself, Tim.
Well, there's so much great action going on the infield. The high jump now with Barshim. Yes. That's good from Barshim. Second time clearance at 2:24. I can tell you that Fasanotti went clear first time. Robbie Grabart's first time as well, maintains his perfect card, and Tamberi shares first place as well. 3 of them there with his perfect card. Chris Baker has gone clear second time of asking at this height as well. So the 2 Brits going really well. And good to see Barshim beginning to look a little bit more like his old self. Well, Stefanidi now in this pole vault. We've already seen her go well at 4.70 meters. It goes clear. The second time of asking at 4.75. First athlete clear. Silva, world champion, finished in 3rd place with 3 failures at 4.70. Kyriakopoulou, second time attempt for her at 4.75. Can she join her compatriot? Yes, she can. Yes, she can. Punches the air yet again. Does the Greek. Stays in 2nd place on countback though. 4.75 meters for Katerina Stefanidi from her compatriot Kyriakopoulou, with the same height on countback, taking silver. The world champion Silva in 3rd place on this occasion.
We're back in the 5,000 metres, and well, there's good and bad news really for Ayana, in the sense that they went a little bit slower than she asked, but I think that's not a bad thing. They went through the first 1,000 metres in 2:50.75, and that is world record pace. She wanted 2:48, but as Tim was saying, to ask Sveta and now Chepkoech to do that. Chepkoech is a pretty good 1,500 metre runner, 4.3 is her best, but I don't think she's going to be able to maintain more than a lap or 2 at this pace, and it will mean that for half of the race Ayana will be on her own. There's the chasing pack, if you like. There's an athlete between them, Yalu. Yeah, you can see there Yalu tried to go with Ayana, which was just silly really, and pretty sure eventually the pack will reel her in. But Ayana looks comfortable. She keeps looking up at the clock. The previous lap was about 69 seconds, and if she just were able to stay in range. Talking about Dibaba earlier on, you know, about her ability, if you like, to pick the pace up over the last 2 laps, last 1,000 metres. Ayana hasn't quite got that same ability, but she can pick it up, and she just needs to be a bit more comfortable going into the last 2,000 metres than she has been, say, for instance, in Rabat last week.
I think this is smarter, Steve. You said it's almost happened by accident, but I think for her to go out in 2:50.7, as we see Steph Twell, they're just struggling to hang on to that pack, even though she's a sub-15-minute performer, Steph Twell, and Grovdal there as well, beginning to struggle too for Norway. I just think Ayana will do well to keep her powder dry here for the second half. She has looked fatigued in the second part of her last couple of races. 2:50 for that second kilometre, 2:50.87, and that is just about perfect.
Well, you have to say a good pacemaking. 2:50.7 for the first 1,000 metres, 2:50.8 for the second 1,000 metres, and she's very much in range here. The crowd are being, well, they're doing a Mexican wave at the minute. I wish they'd watch the race, but anyway, they're being enticed to try and create a bit of atmosphere here for the woman who is undoubtedly, here she goes, I was just about to say, will be on her own. And now for a long part of this race, what can she do here? And if she were to get even close to the world record here, it would be a massive performance. There's Ayana, the world champion, the best in the world undoubtedly in the minute. No Genzebe Dibaba to contend with. We're still not sure about her injury situation, and the chasing pack are not far away from catching Yalu at the minute, but they are, what, about 80 metres, 75, 80 metres behind the leader, and it contains the likes of Chirono and Teferi, medalist at the World Championships last year, and Kabiwat, absolutely nowhere near. No one can go with this young lady at the moment. Still clicking off the laps, right in the range she needs.
Men's long jump coming up, and there's a Marquis Goodwin. Well, Goodwin here in the first round. Comes down almost right on top of that superimposed line, the 8-meter line. Goodwin, the Pan American Games silver medalist last year, former world junior champion, just sits back on that one a little bit. Maybe a bit of backward rotation. Really good height. 8:01 there for Goodwin, a really solid opener.
The first real big test of the year for Greg Rutherford, the Olympic champion, the world champion, and so far, when he's been asked the big questions, he's managed to deliver. First round, well, that's close as well. That's right on the 8-meter mark. Slight breeze into their faces. The long jumpers going against down the back straight there in the opposite direction, if you like, to where the sprinters are coming in the home straight. So not getting the best of the conditions. Well, that just takes the lead by 2 centimetres. 8 meters 3 for Greg Rutherford in the first round.
Bondarenko, he looking for his form of 2 years back. Came in at 2:20, cleared first time, passed at 2:24, and there pops over at 2:27. Looking very smooth too, and there is a very, very big margin of clearance too. That was a big jump from the Ukrainian.
There's only 4 men gone clear so far. No, that's unlucky. That would have matched his personal best. Baker going out at 2:27, third attempt. Almaz Ayana on world record pace. She came round with 3 laps to go. She only, I say only, has to run 70 seconds per lap for the last 3 laps to break the world record. She's coming up now to go through 4 kilometers. Tirunesh Dibaba went through an 11:28. She's dropped a bit of time. That's a 2:53 kilometer, her slowest. Now, how much is she slowing? How much is she hurting? Can she pick it up? They're miles behind in terms of the race for second. Chan leading the group ahead of Chirono, Teferi and others. But Ayana will come into the home straight this time with 2 laps to go. And she needs a bit of help from the crowd here. The announcer trying to get them behind her. So Ayana, the world record time is 14 minutes, 11.15. And when you look, the clock, she's just gone through an 11:57, 11:58. That was a slow lap, Tim. And she's got to really try and pick it up now and then try and come home with a big last 400 metres.
Well, if she were racing the virtual figure of Tirunesh Dibaba from 2008 in Oslo when she set the world record, she'd be up against a flying Dibaba who cleared her last 2 laps in 65.8 and 63.9, the last 800 of 2:09. Now, she has built herself a bit of a cushion here. The world record could still be on with a lap and a half to go, but she has got to focus and dig so deep over these next 600 metres. The world record within reach.
Almaz Ayana used to run the steeplechase, said she found that a little bit difficult, was frightened of the barriers. Well, she's attacking a great barrier here. She's attacking the world record. She's now coached by her husband, Soresa Fida, the last 2-3 years, and what a job the two of them have done. As she comes into the home straight now, this is the penultimate time for her. Next time round, she'll be looking at the clock. She's already trying to check what does she have to do. She needs about a 65 last lap. She's got to find something. She's slowed right down here over the last 2 laps, not significantly, but enough that she has to find something. Has got to raise a sprint, has got to raise a bit of extra pace here. This is the bit she's found difficult in the past. She's strong, she can maintain a good pace, but can she lift it? There's only Meseret Difar and Tirunesh Dibaba, 2 of her compatriots who've ever gone quicker at this distance. Difar, 14:12. Back in 2008, when she just missed the world record, which had been set by Dibaba just a month earlier in Oslo. 14:11.15 to remind you. And here she comes. The crowd are on their feet. They're trying to cheer her home. She's got to find something really quick here. It's going to be close, but I fear it's just starting to slip away. She's got 60 minutes to go. 14:11.15. Watch the clock. The time is ticking away. The world record will just elude her. Ayana crosses the line in the second fastest time. Oh my word. Well, she smiles, but you have to feel for her. It was there for the taking, all the way around until the last 600-700 meters. She was inside world record pace, but when she needed to find an Ethiopian sprint, she just couldn't get enough leg speed going over that last 300-400 meters and missed it by just over a second, 1.5 seconds. And that's got to be soul-destroying as we watch the athletes coming across the line now. It's a meeting record, Tim, but you know, in your career you don't get that many chances. She is still improving, obviously, but she's got to get more help. She needs to find somebody who's going to be prepared to take her a little bit further, and I'm sure she could break the world record. 14:12.59 exactly. Of course it's a world lead, and indeed in second place Mercy Cherono managed to get a personal best in the race to finish second. Kibiwa taking third ahead of Teferi, the world silver medalist. Line up for the men's 110 hurdles, and what a race we have here. Really open race here. We've got Martino Lagarde and Bascu, the two Frenchmen. Ortega of Spain, one of the fastest in the world this year. Good to see the return of Andrew Pozzi of Great Britain. Bascu gets out quicker than anybody else, but hits the first hurdle really hard. Pozzi going well over in lane 2 as well, and it's Pozzi of Great Britain and Martino Lagarde in the middle, and Martino Lagarde and Pozzi close as well, and here comes Ortega. Ortega hits it! What a good race there. Ortega left it late, but finally came through. Bascu down on the track. One or two others, I think it might have been O'Farrell, went down as well. But Ortega didn't get the best of starts, Ortega. Certainly Bascu was out quicker than anybody else, but he did clatter the first hurdle. That upset him. Martino Lagarde came through. Pozzi looked very good, just faded a little bit over the last couple of flights. But a messy race from 1 or 2, but Ortega coming through for a good win in the end, Tim.
Yes, Ortega there, a third from left, sticking to his guns. It was O'Farrell who went down really hard there in the blue. I thought Martino Lagarde had got this one, but Ortega eased past him in the run in there. Really good running, though, from Andrew Pozzi.
So Ortega's winning time, 13.22, his season's best for Martino Lagarde, and Pozzi backing up his recent personal best, very close to that, 13.37. Good run from him in third. Palamaika, who had led for much of the women's javelin competition, which really they've all struggled with the conditions tonight. That was better from Palamaika, really getting going in the latter stages. 64.76, her best so far this year. Palamaika, as I said, having led early on, improving, not a lot. It looked as though it might have been about 63 metres. Actually was just below that, about 61.92. It's improved her position. Just around half a metre separating the top three. Confirmation of the result then, Villion winning with 61.95, that throw coming in the third round. Palamaika, we've just seen 61.92, just 3 centimetres behind, and Husong 61.21 in third.
Well, the lineup for the men's 1,500 metres. Bethwell Bergen, recent good 5,000 from him. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, of course, the former European champion. Chris O'Hare in very good form already this year indoors, the European Championship bronze medalist 2 years ago. But the big names, Manangoi there, is certainly amongst the favourites. The Kenyan with Robert Biwott and Silas Kiplagat. It's a good home for middle distance running is Italy as they get underway. 3 3/4 laps of the track. Now Ingebrigtsen in those dark glasses towards the back there on the right, with about 15 or 16 bodies in front of him. The first pacemaker, Rotic, comes roaring across. Big fella, just the ideal build for a pacemaker, but Steve, 150.5, probably a little unrealistic, isn't it, for an 800 split?
Yeah, and I'm not sure who would have asked for it. You know, Manangoi's been in pretty good form. Obviously, the only person who could go with anything like that is Kiprop at this point. And I think this is a race where the likes of Manangoi, it'd be great to see, as I said, what Biwott can do here.
win these races. And yeah, you want a decent pace set, but surely 150.5 is unnecessary, because there's one thing for sure: you go out that hard, third lap's going to be slow.
Well, they're coming towards one lap, that's all so far. 53.94, it is quick. Now that's the pacemakers. Most of the pack will have gone through in around 55 seconds there or thereabouts, so fairly solid for the first lap. The second lap is usually a second and a half slower, so we would expect something around 152 at 800 metres. The fastest time in the world this year, 3:32.15 by Asbel Kiprop when he destroyed the field with a dominant run in Doha, some 3 weeks or so back. That is vulnerable, there's no doubt about that. It is quick, they're strung out in single file. Ingebrigtsen of Norway towards the back of the pack, just trying to see where Chris O'Hare is at the moment. He's just in front of Ingebrigtsen, about 6th from the back. As they come through with 2 laps to run, the time 1:37 there for the pacemakers. The pack are beginning to drop further and further behind them.
Well, that's where, it's just silly, really, and, the pacemakers only keep going. I mean, Menangoy obviously is just backed off, because when you run that fast for the first lap, they've gone through in 1:51.8. The group much more like 1:53, high 1:53, something like that, which is a bit more sensible. Ryan Gregson, who is sat off the pace, 1 or 2 back in the pack here, will pick up runners on the last lap, surely, because even with the ability that the likes of Menangoy and B. Watt and Wote and the rest of them have, that you're going off that hard and then slowing down, it's hard to come back from that. They will come back, they will pick up, but that lap that they just went through, that 400 metres, was about 5 seconds slower than what they'd set off at, and that sort of pace up and down doesn't help anybody.
Menangoy then at the front now as the second pacemaker moves aside. Wote in second place, Tesfaye in third there. Moving through is Gregson towards the bell, which they hit now in about 2:38. It's nothing like the pace that had been requested. As Steve says, you sometimes wonder who requests these crazily fast tempos. Conditions here in the stadium, while it's a cool evening, actually not too bad at all. 300 metres to run. Menangoy from Wote. It's anybody's race now. Tesfaye on the outside as they head down the back straight. There's still 8 or 10 men who could take this one. Carvalho moving wide down the back straight with Menangoy running the shortest line, looking up at the big screen, just managing this one with 200 to run. Wote it is, the Ethiopian record holder, in second place. He was only 6th in Doha and 6th in the Prefontaine Mile last week. Gregson moving wide and attacking on the outside with just over 100 to run. Menangoy trying to keep him at bay, but this is a brilliant run from Gregson. Down the home straight, backing away now. O'Hare nowhere to be seen, neither is Ingebrigtsen, as Menangoy just eases away towards the line, takes it there in 3:33.98. Well, a really strong, competitive 1,500 metres. We spend too much time sometimes talking about the pacemakers. We're sold a dummy by the meeting organisers, and again tonight they were relatively irrelevant, it has to be said. 55.71. Not a spectacularly quick final lap there for a race, Steve. One in just a click inside 3:34, but a good run nonetheless. Menangoy 3:33.96 from Biwott and Gregson, getting in amongst the best of the Africans. Kiplagat and Wote in 4th and 5th. And Chris O'Hare, 3:35.37 is an Olympic qualifying mark for the Brit.
Bondarenko on the high jump, 2:30, well clear, easily clear, and he keeps himself in the lead. Perfect so far. First time clearance is at 2:20, 2:27, and now 2:30. Getting to the business end of this competition, but it's Bondarenko still, as ever, wearing the tracksuit bottoms, as if to say, I'm just getting warmed up here. Might be in for one of the better competitions of the year so far. Robbie Grabars then at 2:30, took 2 attempts to get over 2:27. Yeah, that's better. Robbie was telling me he's getting back to his old run-up, giving himself a little bit more room, he said, approaching the bar. That's great form. 2:30 for Grabars. His season really warming up as well. So good to see him back after that silver medal at the World Indoors. A sign that he's returning to the form that saw him win an Olympic medal in 2012. Tamberi then took 3 attempts to clear 2:27 when that 1,500 metres was on. Second attempt at 2:30, and goodness me, the crowd want to see the world indoor champion continue here. Here he goes. Oh, he's clear. Only just gives it a real good rattle, Well, he's making a lot of it. Others have made it look a little bit easier than the Italian has. But Tamberi clear. So Bondarenko clear, Grabars is clear, Tamberi is clear. Big three, if you like. One or two others struggling. Barshim still struggling with all of his injury problems. He's out at this height. So what about Zhang then? Third attempt for the tall, entertaining Chinese high jumper. Oh, and he's gone clear as well. Well, we've got a real competition on. The four of them clear, and all in their own ways, playing to the crowd. Zhang, a real showman as well. Tamberi has the beard, Zhang has the dance. Bondarenko's got the tracksuit bottoms. Well, Robbie Grabars, he's just British.
What are you trying to say?
He's calm, cool, collected.
Well, there is the lineup for the women's 100 metres. The meeting record belongs to one Marion Jones, the infamous Marion Jones, back in 1998. She ran 10.75. But it's a solid field, very competitive field. Kambunji, Lalova, Henri, Pierre, Gardner, Aye, Thompson, Tenorio and Svoboda. An English Gardner in very good form indeed. The winner in Eugene just a few days ago, the 24-year-old. And then Elaine Thompson. Well, a silver medalist in the World Championships last year, the Jamaican, has a gold too from Beijing in the sprint relay. She took the bronze medal to boot last March in the World Indoors. Great start from English Gardner. Also going well, Barbara Pierre. The Gardner getting into her stride and easing away from them. Coming through really strongly on the near side though is Thompson. Thompson takes it. 10.87 for the Jamaican. And Gardner torn apart over the last 20. She ran brilliantly for 80 metres, but Thompson managed her effort supremely, held her form really well through to the tape.
Well, she announced herself really, didn't she, last year, Elaine Thompson. Of course, all eyes still very much on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce in Jamaica, but Thompson, well, she's the coming athlete, and she left it a little bit late here, but that 200-metre strength that she has, using it really well here. That's probably one of the best performances we've seen tonight. I think the women's sprinting this year it's not just because Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce has been injured and obviously didn't look so good last week, but it's very open. And Skippers and Thompson and others, well, it's going to be a cracking 100, 200 metre couple of races in Rio.
So 100 metre result, Elaine Thompson at 10.87 ahead of English Gardner's 10.92. Barbara Pierre well separated from that leading pair. In third, 11.13.
Goodwin. And Goodwin, who was the world leader, is the world leader coming into this. The Americans have got so many long jumpers at the moment, and of course they've always been tended to be heavily criticised in recent times by the great Carl Lewis. But American long jumping certainly improving. Goodwin, strong and powerful. His world lead of 8.45. Maybe it was a surprise to one or two. 8.19 is best so far this evening.
Greg Rutherford then, 8.03 his opener. Good speed from Rutherford, hits the board well. And that is big from Rutherford. Certainly very big for the Briton. Longest jump in the world this year, because he doesn't look too far short of it there. He's 8.45 by Marquise Goodwin. That was a couple of weeks back. Good height there from Rutherford. There is a bit of an optical illusion going on. He's such a massive fella that, respectively speaking, it doesn't look he has got that much height, but he has, and that's a big jump from Rutherford. 8.31, a season's best.
So right at the top end of the track, the men are lining up for the 100 metres. There's Martina, the 31-year-old, on the inside. Last race was in Hengelo a couple of weeks ago. Aaron Brown not there after having run the 200 earlier on, so it's Justin Gatlin being introduced to the crowd in lane 3. Jimmy Vico of France, his first big 100 metres of the year. He's run a couple of 200s so far, the French record holder, 9.86 of course at his best. Still leading the world, Ogunode, Femi Ogunode, now running for Qatar, former Nigerian. A man who is in great form at home in Pretoria. He ran 9.96, excuse me. CJ Uja, former European Junior champion, sub 10 seconds. He did that in Hengelo a couple of years ago. And we'll be looking for a quick time here. British sprinting going really well. Plenty of them already qualifying, getting Olympic qualifying marks. Amir Webb, similarly for him. The American team will be difficult to get into, but 200 is best event, so win that earlier on tonight. Isaiah Young of the USA on the outside. Gatlin gets away pretty well, leaves Jimmy Vico next to him, and look at Gatlin already got a meter. They're just starting to run him down a little bit. Vico coming back to him, but it's going to be Gatlin. Webb gets close at the end, 9.94. Webb finishing very, very quickly, but Gatlin, I'm not sure again what he'll think of that. Don't know what he was expecting, whether he was hoping to run quicker. It's been taken down to 9.93, so 100th quicker than he's run so far this year. Season's best. Tim, it looked as though Gatlin was going to go away, but Webb really strong in the latter stages.
Well, Webb by far the better second half. He just didn't have the pickup at the start. That's the trouble. Look at it. He almost got Gatlin. I'll tell you, another 3 or 4 metres, and Amir Webb would have taken that one. He won the 200 earlier on, remember, 20.04. That is some double.
Gatlin on top. Amir Webb very impressive in second with a personal best 9.94. Gatlin's winning time 9.93. Vico under 10 seconds. CJ Uja, Great Britain 10.15. Bar now at 2.33. Bondarenko, Grabars, Tamberi and Zhang all going clear at 2.30. All medalists at global championships. Here's Tamberi then. No. Well, he's talked a lot. Of course, he was at all the press conferences this week. And people focus on his character, the beard, the rest of it. But as I was saying earlier on, the other high jumpers really respecting his ability to produce the good jumps when he needs to. Not on this occasion, though. So that's his second failure at 2.33.
Bohdan Bondarenko then at 2.33. Second time of asking goes clear. Yes. Beginning to find his competitive streak again. He's had some rough old days over the last few months as Bohdan Bondarenko, but that is season's best for the Ukrainian. His first failure recorded at this height, but second time of asking, and he's got it. Bondarenko is beginning to approach his best at 26-year-old.
Lapierre. Well, the Australian, as ever, really quick. Great lift off the board for Lapierre. So crucial to get a good jump in the first 3 rounds with the new rules. And very, very close amongst 3 or 4 athletes. Lapierre managing to get out to 8.18 in his third attempt.
What a field it is. The race features the winners of the last 3 Olympics and the winner of the last 4 World Championships. There's also the reigning European champion, the current world #1, a man who dominated the Diamond League in 2014 and 2015, and the reigning Commonwealth champion as well. 11 men in history have broken 8 minutes now for the steeplechase. 4 of them go here tonight. But they do need to hit their marks. When you're operating at that sort of speed, very, very small mistakes in pacemaking and in tempo judgment can have a catastrophic effect on the end result.
Bondarenko then in the high jump. This competition that he's already won. The bar at 2.37 for Bondarenko. No. Well, that might be enough for him tonight. He won it with a clearance, second time clearance at 2.33. Robbie Grabars taking second place ahead of Tamberi. Really good men's high jump competition. Bondarenko, though, getting back to his best. Well, certainly not too far away from it. With a lap to go, it's always interesting for me. It's who attacks these barriers the best. Who can, Kemboy is always one of the greatest at doing that sprint finish, taking them in his stride. And if they can run a sub 60 for the last, it's less than 400, of course, because the water jumps on the inside, Tim. But Kipruto, the first to go, because I think he fears Beresh in the last 200.
Well, the winner in Doha in 8:05, the winner in Rabat 8:02. A similar increment of improvement would be ideal.
Beresh fell there, Tim, as he went into that barrier. I'm really not sure what happened. So Kipruto out in front on his own. Beresh has picked himself up, but there's only one winner now.
200 to run for Conseslus Kipruto, and he's hammering it, isn't he? Around the crown of the bend, approaches the water jump for the final time. Negotiate this well. He went through the bell in exactly 7 minutes as the battle with Kowal, the European champion, continues further back, 200 metres behind almost, but down the home straight. Here is the winner. The winner surely in 30 or 40 metres. And watch the clock. It's going to be so close to 8 minutes. It's going to be outside it yet again. He's done this time after time after time. 8:01.43, another massive win. Beresh unfortunately falling down the back straight, as you said, Steve, but maybe that a product of the pressure he was under that had been applied by Conseslus Kipruto. Kipruto then, Conseslus Kipruto, that is 8:01.41, winning by almost 10 seconds from Beresh, and Koech in third place. Kowal indeed down in fourth there with 8:17.
Greg Rutherford, final attempt in the long jump. And yet again, this new rules are meaning that we're not getting as many attempts in the last three rounds from the top four. We've had 4 passes. We've also had 3 no jumps. We've only had 3 legal jumps from the top 4 in these final 4 rounds. So Greg Rutherford, what can he do here? He's already won the competition. Well, not quite as far, I'm not sure there. Difficult to see as the runners were going by. And his speed, if you weren't sure about how quick he's going, look at him go past all of the steeplechasers and couldn't actually see from that quite where he landed, but it may well extend his lead. Very, very close. He's applauding the crowd, just waiting to see what it comes up as. But Greg Rutherford once again coming out on top. It doesn't matter what others have done. He was the 7th ranked coming into this competition, but once again, he's unbeaten in Olympic year. 8:19 in the final round. Greg Rutherford on top. Well, it was a pretty good night for the British athletes in Rome. On the track, CJ Uja, Desiree Henry running well in the sprints, getting Olympic qualifiers, as indeed did Chris O'Hare in the 1500, and a great third from Lindsay Sharp against Semenya and Nian Saba in the 800. But it was in the field where the best results came. Robbie Grabart's getting back to his best, full of confidence, 2:30 for second place behind Bondarenko. But in the long jump, we had the top 7 in the world here. Guess who was ranked number 7? Greg Rutherford, but in direct competition, he dominates the opposition. 8:31, his winning jump. And if you want to point it towards the Olympic Games, in 2012 he won here with 8:32, and we all know what happened in London. Roll on Rio for Greg Rutherford.
That's all the action for today, but stay with us here on BBC One. We have an afternoon of top-class women's sport. It's the World Boxing Championships on BBC One. Then later this afternoon, live coverage on the red button of the European Gymnastics Championships. And tonight on BBC Two, women's football as England face Serbia. Our next Diamond League Athletics will be live from Birmingham tomorrow. Join us from 1:30 on BBC One. Until then, bye-bye.